Hi, we're the Huge Movie Fanatics here to review Curse of Chucky, the currently final installment in the Child's Play franchise.
Let's hope it's the final.
So, I saw this movie, I saw the trailer to it, and we even teased that we were going to do a trailer review, which never happened. I saw the trailer and I was like, this looks kind of interesting, but maybe not. All of a sudden, Chucky has a perfectly clean face again, and I was like, that's going to be a weird one to explain. But they better have a good explanation, and they kind of did, a little bit, sort of. Anyway, so I rented this one, and thankfully, and I put it in, and I knew it was directed and written by the guy who did Seed of Chucky, and I was like, well, I'm in for another good idea with a really bad director. And sat down, and I was shocked that the direction of the movie is really good. It's really, he stepped up and delivered a visually interesting movie. Like, all the way through, the visuals are fantastic, and I liked the lighting. They did a little too much with the color timing, but whatever.
Oh, Christ.
I thought he did a good job. He made it look really interesting and atmospheric, so that impressed me, at least coming from his previous film. But the screenplay wasn't there. Like, the first half of the movie is sort of like a slow burn, and I was like, alright, so this is... I liked the first half of the movie. I'm like, this is interesting. We're playing with something. Where is this gonna go?
We're playing.
And it doesn't go fucking anywhere. It just is really boring. And then once, spoiler alert, Chucky reveals and pulls off his little facial makeup to reveal that he is the stitched up Chucky that we're familiar with from the previous two movies. That surprised me. I was like, whoa, crazy. But then you find out that this is the girl that he's wanted to kill ever since. Like, this is what got him running away at the beginning of the first movie. Like, it started him mid-run. Well, you see how he takes off to that run and whatnot. And it was added creepiness because in real life that was his daughter playing that.
I know, why not? I thought... why not just make that character his daughter then?
Right? Yeah. I mean, I was like, whatever.
It was so close to...
By the way, she is gorgeous.
It was so close to being her daughter in the movie. You're his daughter, and it just isn't. Why?
Yeah.
Oh.
But she's gorgeous, and she did a really good job. She is the best thing about this movie. I would almost recommend the movie based on her. But the end of this movie, the last half hour of this movie, just... spirals into a pit of shit. Like, it is just so bad. And it just doesn't let up. It gets worse and worse. And then when the cop is introduced and I was like, I know this. And then he goes, I was like, is this Andy? And I got kind of excited for a half second. I'm like, maybe it'll redeem itself and it'll be like Andy. But it wasn't.
Well, the thing is, I saw some behind the scenes and Alex Vincent was there on set. And I was like, okay, what? He's like, in there, there's, Brad Dourif is having an interview and Alex Vincent's next to him. It's like, why isn't he in the movie then?
Yeah.
Like if he's there, can't you put him in?
Oh, I didn't even know that. I just watched the deleted scenes.
I didn't know that either. But I mean, he was like there on set for at least some time. And I'm like, why not have him in the movie then? Probably a deleted scene.
Probably. And then you had the weird stuff.
Alex was mentioned, the character.
Yeah, he was mentioned multiple times, which is why I was like, so that's why he's going to be the cop that comes in and saves the day, much like the cop in the very first movie. I thought that was where they were going with it. And that would have been really kind of cool. Like, instead of having the cop that doesn't believe, have the cop that's lived this shit before. Which would have been creative and interesting. Dude, if you could have, like, get in your fucking DeLorean and go back and make a better picture, that'd be nice. But, like, for as many steps as he took to become a better director, he forgot the screenplay. Like, what the hell, man? But, as I say, she's good. Brad Dourif is good. He actually has screen time in this for the first time since, really, the first movie.
And it's so dumb. These.
I mean, it's dumb, but he does a great job.
Footage from like before the first movie, and he's so much older. I hate that shit.
I do too, but he does a good job and sells the hell out of it. Then
they try to keep the hair in front of it. They should have.
Yeah, they did. At least they didn't like Beowulf it, where he was like a digital guy. Although that would have been more
digital
interesting.
Chucky though, didn't they?
Yeah, they did a couple of times, and I was like, oh no. And then Tiffany in the movie, she was misused, like entirely. I liked Tiffany in Bride of Chucky quite a bit, and she had her moments in Seed of Chucky, but by then it was faltering, and she, like, her whole story arc in Bride of Chucky was that she was a bad girl that just wasn't actually bad at heart, and at the end of the movie she kind of proved that, and then she's the killer again in the next movie, and then the reason behind all the killings in this one, and it's like, you had this good story plot with her in the fourth one, leave it at that. She didn't need to be there the next two times. Certainly not this time.
Well, I'd say that her little appearance is almost not being there. I mean,
yeah, but like for her to be the whole mastermind behind the whole thing, and then Chucky, spoiler alert, goes into a child at the end. Like he gets.
I
His
don't
wish.
understand that, because when he's doing the thing, they pan over and this person sits up with a bag on their head. I don't know who that is.
I don't either.
I think the soul accidentally went into that person, like grandma or something. I think it might. I don't know who it. The thing that I don't even know
Yeah, it didn't
who
even
it is.
make sense. Yeah.
It's like this is a hot day, Dewey Dimble, and they just slow pan away from that,
Yeah.
and then it's like this person who you don't know who it is has like a paper bag. I mean, like a
Plastic
plastic
bag.
clear bag over their head, pops up, and it's like you don't even know who the hell it is. I think it's supposed to be grandma he just killed or something.
Yeah, probably.
So it's like Chucky's gonna be grandma next time now.
That could be kind of funny, but I mean, and this one veered away again from the humor and went straight for the horror, which was somewhat refreshing.
That's
but,
something I appreciated, if I may. May I?
Yeah.
What about
Oh,
Steve?
I give this one 1.5. It's on par with the second movie as being the worst in the franchise. This one has some elements of creativity to it in the sense that, like, I like the wheelchair girl. I liked
Wheelchair girl.
the main.
Yeah, oh, I know who you're talking about.
And I liked the visual nods to the first movie, like with the elevator and stuff like that.
Oh, I forgot all about that.
The lift, things like that I appreciated, but it's just.
For me, I was very excited, not very excited, but kind of excited when it started. It was nice for me, because I don't like stitch-faced Chucky, to see fresh-faced Chucky back. I was very much aware, obviously, the first half of the movie doing very much, which hasn't been done since the first one, very much a first one thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like our people, and I appreciated that.
Same here.
Especially after being so long since the first one, and also going to a couple comedy Chuckies and all this and that. I appreciated that. I mean, for me, always going back to what kind of works for me. So I was cool, and I actually liked like the opening music, who was actually done by Joseph Loduca, who did Army of Darkness.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
But so that shot that went around Chucky in the opening credits, when it went from like day to morning or the next day, you know, with the music, was really cool, and I was like, oh wow, I have not high hopes, but maybe this will be something.
Right.
And it looks like it was shot, you know, digital, of course, probably, which it was. And I personally, I don't like the house. I think the Addams Family house is a little overproduction design, and that's one thing that I don't like about movies. Just that, like, you're living in a movie set and not in a real house. That's something that I don't really like. And also, it has the no budget or low budget aspect of one location, which just gives away, and then a few exterior road scenes, which just gives away its budget. This really seems like almost like if Charles Band got the rights to Chucky, very much like what he would, like, it is a Child's Play Puppet Master movie in a lot of ways. But I do appreciate and like how it began in the first half. I think in a way it's like nothing happens, but somehow the first half is better than the last half.
The first half is fantastic in comparison.
Yeah, and of course we have a young kid again for the first time since what? I think Child's Play 3. I think 2 or 4 and 5 didn't really have any young kids necessarily. And so we have the young girl who, you know, was a kid, and then another kid in part 3, so now it's a young girl. And they very much do the Alex Vincent thing from the first one, which I responded to. And I kind of liked, just like I say, I liked fresh-faced Chucky back. And we haven't even had him say, like, since part 3, I don't think, any of just the Chucky shit, like, I'm your friend to the, you know. And I don't think he did that in
I think he did it in 4 once, when she sets it on the thing. And
he
he's
might
like,
be right.
I'm your friend at the end,
He could have. But anyway, he did all shitload of that in this movie. And so it's 1 star for me. At the end of the day, it's just like, what the fuck? And And it's like when he pushes her off the thing in the wheelchair, it's like, okay, can't we just like grab the wheels and stop
That's what I was
ourselves?
thinking too. There's brakes on the
Well, even if
wheelchair.
there's not brakes, you can grab the wheels and stop them, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, "Ah, I'm gonna push you over the cliff," and it's just over the ledge.
Yeah.
And it's just like, she's like this, when I would probably
Yeah.
want to grab the wheels, but I couldn't believe it. You know, it was the same thing with like 5 for me, where I seen it once and I couldn't remember what the hell happened, and then I watched it again last night, and it's like, oh, okay, and then I almost forgot now what happened. But the kills are just so like, current full moon.
The
They aren't
woman who
even
gets
kills.
electrocuted, and
You just
then
like-
her eyes still burning like an hour later, and I'm like, what, she still wouldn't be smoking. At that point, she would either be on fire or,
Melted.
yeah, like what? Go to
And then
hell.
it's like, you've got your mother's eyes. It was just the stupidest line. They were always too close together. And there's an interview with that actress,
Yeah.
and now she's all subconscious about her eyes. She said, now I'm wondering if they're too close to... Don Mancini gave her a freaking complex for the rest of her life.
That's awesome.
Was it worth it, Don? Oh man, poor woman.
But for somebody who is a relatively creative writer, I mean, I don't know if he's written anything outside of these movies.
I don't know. It's
You
just...
should try something else. I mean,
Hopefully this is... I would
I would like to Rocky Balboa this. I wanna see a.
Well, that's what
child's-
this was what kind of started out as.
Yeah, I want to see a Child's Play movie where it goes back and
The title could be
you,
Charles Lee Ray.
Yeah, it reminds you why you loved this franchise to begin with. This movie wasn't that.
It started out, like I say,
Yeah.
like it might have been. But
Yeah.
yeah, then the whole aspect of Brad Dourif's daughter playing what, like I say, almost is the character's daughter, but not quite. Like, how come the baby in her couldn't have been Charles Lee Ray's
Yeah.
father? I mean, kid.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. And Alex Vincent was on set, and he wasn't. I don't know if there's deleted scenes or not, but it would have been cool since he was there. Why not like right apart? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And you're right. I never thought of that, which would have been perfect if the cop could have come to rescue, just like the first one. 1 star for me. Are you done?
Yeah.
Like I say, if you've seen it, when the very end, when that person who you don't know who the fuck it is pops up and
Yeah,
it just disappears. Oh.
Yeah, if you know who that is, let us know. But yeah, but Brad Dourif's daughter is beautiful. That's the final note on this
That's
movie.
what you came away with.
She made the movie almost worth watching. So there you have it.
I swear, like the first half, it's just like crawl. You know, it starts out good and then it begins this crawling pace where it's just like.
Nothing interesting.
Yeah, and what I thought was so ironic is that the father, I don't know if you remember that priest guy who showed up, and he like, I'm assuming he got the poison like on the whatever chili they were eating or whatever, because he's like, I have to go, and he's like gets in a car wreck, and it's just like the weirdest kill ever because it's like it's not a direct kill. It's like you poison him, he drives off, and he gets in a car accident. And the one cool thing is, I don't know if you've seen the unrated version, because there's like 2 versions.
I'm not sure which one it was.
Well, I've only seen unrated, but you know, I unfortunately bought the Blu-ray used at half-price books, more than I should have paid, but whatever, life goes on. So it's got both versions, but I've only watched just the unrated. But what I was getting at is the head falls off of that guy, and the fake head they made, even in the like behind the scenes. But in the movie, I mean, the fake head is just great. I mean, looks great, and it's probably the best thing about the movie. In general, let me quick say that Chucky, like the mouth, you can tell the budget is pretty not as good because the mouth didn't nearly like speak. It was almost like this.
Yeah.
You should be afraid. It was like just the lower lip just went up and down.
It wasn't very good.
So, all right, thank you very much for watching, and I hope this is the last Chucky. Like you said, like when you said Rocky Balboa, I'm like so ready for the title, Charles Lee Ray.
Yeah, like just
Wouldn't that be great?
bring us back to something. It doesn't even have to be a retread or anything like that.
Just something good.
Remind us why this franchise was good, or worthy of a franchise.
Yeah, how about that for an idea? Thanks for watching. So after we shot this review, I was editing it and I ran across a scene after the end credits of Curse of Chucky, which features Alex Vincent reprising his role as the famous Andy Barclay in a rather boring and drab portrayal of the character. He comes up the stairs, puts a box down, and answers the phone, in which his mom is calling, so she must be out of the nut house. And one of the lines he asks is, "How's Mike?" which of course refers to the cop from the first Child's Play. So mom's out of the nut house, and probably, it sounds like, together with Mike, unless they're both in the nut house. I don't know. I don't know. But Chucky pops out of the box and expects to finally, after 6 movies, get the drop on Andy Barclay here. But Andy's got another idea, in which he says, "Play with this." Andy! Thus ends the Chucky franchise.